Hello, how are you doing today? It is Monday. I cannot believe I'm still processing, like how are we getting, like, I don't know, so there's just so much happening so quickly. Time is just moving right along all the time. I feel like it just can't ever seem to, I don't know, it's just very, very, very weird. So anyways, I wanted to come and talk with you guys about expectations. It's actually really interesting. My husband and I were talking about, football coaching, right? And it's really interesting because he was kind of sharing, expectations within the coaching community were very kind of different than what he thought, right? And so we were talking about how to, like, avoid disappointment, right? Avoiding disappointment by being really clear in the expectations, right? And so I thought I would come on and just talk about expectations and how to not live in constant disappointment, because here's what I've learned. When I have expectations that I've put on someone else, I am inevitably disappointed every single time. People will never live up to my expectations. They're never going to do what I think they should do, because guess what? I'm not in control of them. I'm not in control of their behavior. I can only control myself and how I react, right? But why do I constantly set myself up every single time to be disappointed? Like, I think that somehow humans are gonna magically surprise me. I think we are all learning that that's just not really gonna happen, right? And it's frustrating. It's so frustrating because we expect that our kids are gonna behave. We expect, right? They're not. They're just not. So I was thinking about what areas of life do we put up these expectations and sometimes have disappointing results? Could be in your job, right? Did you start a job and you had these really high expectations for the atmosphere, for your boss, for whatever, and you're disappointed? They didn't live up to your expectations. How about in your business? If you own a business, did you expect that everybody was going to come flocking to you? And you're disappointed because they're not. How about in a relationship, right? Do you magically expect that someone can read your mind and know exactly what it is that you want them to do the damn dishes, right? How about if you went to a movie or a concert and you had these really high expectations? It was going to be so great. Everybody is talking about this, and you go to the movie and you're like, well, that sucked ass. Has that ever happened to you? Your expectations are completely, you get disappointed because the movie did not live up to your expectations of greatness. How about going on a vacation, right? You spent all this money to go on vacation. You had all the places, and it just did not live up to your expectations. How about parenting, right? When you have little kids, you expect them to behave when you go to the grocery store. Maybe they did not live up to your expectations, right? So when we can take a step back, and really what I want to do is I've come up with 6 tips. I just wrote them out, of ways that we can start to not feel so damn disappointed all the time, right? And really what it is, it's about changing your expectations. We're going to change your expectations, okay? So my number one tip take perfect off the table. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. It's not. It's not. It doesn't exist. So once we can eliminate perfect, take perfect off the table, it doesn't exist, then we can eliminate the expectation that it is going to be perfect. It's not. Get it out of your head. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. I totally hit myself in the face when I did that. Okay, number 2. Release the control. This is a big one for me. Releasing the control, that you have control over other people's actions and behaviors, because you do not have control over anyone else and what they do and what they say and how they react. Oh, Shauna, I'm so glad you needed this message today. It's been weighing on me the last couple of days, and I decided today was going to be the day that I was going to come on and talk about it. So I'm glad that you are resonating with my message. Release the control. You cannot control what anyone else says, does, thinks, believes, what their values are. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. If you are a keyboard warrior, social justice warrior, and you think you're going to change someone else's mind on social media, you're not. Release that expectation. Release the control that you think you can control someone else's behavior or ideas or any. You just can't. You can't. Get it out. Number 3, communicate your expectations. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to give you an example. I'm all about education. I love statistics. I love facts. I love data. I love to share what I learn. And some of those topics may have been related to the current state of the world. So racism, humanity, things like that. I set the expectations in my post that I'm open to dialogue without name calling. Like, I set the expectation. I am open to have a conversation with you, but I am not willing to participate in name calling. And people always I get messages all the time. Oh my God, I can't believe you're having conversations and dialogue with people and it's remaining civil. How is that happening? Because I set the expectation in advance. I said, I'm open to dialogue. I'm willing to hear your perspective, but I'm not going to participate in name calling. Plain and simple. Don't do that here. So think about expectations that you could set in your business, in your job, in your parenting, in your relationships. Brené Brown says it best. Clear is kind. Communicate what you need. Communicate what you expect. Communicate what's going to make you feel safe. Communicate those things so that other people, they're not mind readers. People are not mind readers, and we need to get over the fact that we expect people to be mind readers because they're not. So communicate what your expectations are and communicate what people can expect from you. This is what you can expect to receive from me. Also, allows the other person to not have super high expectations of you and be disappointed. Clear is kind. Brené Brown, love her. Okay, number 4, be realistic. Are your expectations realistic? Can you expect your 4 children to go with you to the grocery store and during nap time and not have a tantrum? Be realistic with your expectations, right? Be realistic. What are the possibilities that shit's gonna hit the fan? Can you be prepared for that? Right? Can you prepare for the unexpected? My husband likes to call it plan B, right? He can always see oh man, that cup of milk is really close to the edge of the table. I could see you're gonna totally knock that off the table. And so he'll say, hey, move your glass. He's planning for the unexpected to happen. He sees it, right? Even though I'm like, will you stop it? We're so silly. So be realistic with your expectations. Remember, we take perfect off the table, so that is going to be really super helpful for you to, not be disappointed. Be realistic with your expectations. Number 5, accept imperfection in others. Your friend that shows up late all the time, do you think that she's going to change? Are you willing to be friends with someone who is going to be late all the time? Can you accept her flaws? Would you like other people to accept your flaws and to realize that you're not perfect and to stop expecting perfection, right? So people are not perfect. And when you can accept that, when you can accept that they are not perfect, that they are flawed human beings, just like the rest of us, boy, is that going to really change things for you. Okay? Number 6, the last one, look for the opportunities. I try so hard, and sometimes it's more harder than other days, but I try to see the opportunities in everything. Every situation, every scenario, there is an opportunity to learn something there. Whether it is good or bad, there is an opportunity for growth being presented to you. And here's what I've learned. I refer to this book all the time because it just really stuck with me. And it's called If Life is a Game, These Are the Rules by Cherie Carter Scott. It was a long, long time ago, Oprah Book Club, right? But I read this book and it had 10 rules. You could actually probably find the rules on the internet. Like, I've looked for it and found them easily. If life is a game, these are the rules. And rule, I don't remember which rule it is, but it's probably like rule number 2 or number 3, something like that. You will be presented with lessons. You will be presented with lessons. Every day, you are going to be presented with an opportunity to learn something. The rule after that, lessons will be repeated until learned. So the same situation is going to continue to show up in your life until you learn the lesson that you needed to learn. Remember, nothing changes if nothing changes. Insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I don't know about you, but that's not where I want to live. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Yes, I get it, Shauna. That's right. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. It's hard because you want to, I get what you're saying. It's hard because you want to expect the best in everyone. You want to expect the best in every situation. But the reality is that are your expectations set on perfect? If they are, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. So it's not that you can't expect to have a good time. It's, are you being realistic with your expectations? Like, look at what's the best case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? And as long as the worst case scenario doesn't happen, can you be satisfied with the results? Right? Can you be satisfied with the results? Worst case scenario doesn't happen. Awesome. But maybe it didn't go as perfectly as you had hoped it was going to go. Can you be satisfied? Can you be happy with the results that you got? Wasn't the worst case, the worst didn't happen. Even if the worst does happen, what is that learning opportunity there? You know, I've said this before that I don't believe in failure because I believe that everything we do has an opportunity to learn something. And if it doesn't work out, I just learned how it doesn't work. I've learned that it doesn't work that way and that maybe I could try it a different way and get a different result. And then I'll know, did that work? Yes or no? Tweak it, right? But failure really truly is just not trying or just not trying at all, right? That's the only way because you don't learn anything that way. I'm interested in learning. I'm interested in like gaining new perspective. So as long as you can be open to learning and be open to saying, what's the worst case scenario? What's the best case scenario? What's going to be our contingency plan if the worst thing happens? Like, what are we going to do? What's the worst thing that could happen if you go on vacation? Your flight gets delayed, your luggage gets lost. What are you going to do? How are you going to plan for that? Can you plan for that? Right? So it's literally just thinking, what's the worst thing that could happen? What's the worst thing that could happen? What's the best thing that could happen? Be positive, manifest that shit, but don't dwell on the negative, but be prepared for it, right? Being realistic with your expectations. Yes, airlines lose luggage. We know that. They have a whole department for it. It's a fact that sometimes they lose people's luggage. Sometimes it's found, sometimes it's not. How could you plan for that? What could you do to prevent that from happening? So thinking about things like that. Maybe you don't want to put those super expensive things in your luggage. Maybe you want to keep them with you as a carry-on. When I was doing photography, I would never check my photography equipment. I was terrified that my shit would get lost, right? And funny story, I don't want to say it actually happened, but it kind of did. In Hawaii, flying a little hopper from one island to the other so that I could go do wedding photography. And guess what? I had to give them my suitcase because it was a little hopper plane. And guess what? They forgot to put it on the plane. And I had to wait for them to come back with my luggage, with my camera. Right? So that scared the crap out of me, and I never wanted that to happen again. So I was never going to check my photography equipment. Just saying. Contingency plan. I was like, nope. I'd rather lose my clothes than my equipment. But anyways, I digress. So just to recap, number 1, take perfect off the table because it's not going to be ever perfect. Number 2, release the control, that you can control other people's behaviors and actions and ideas and values, their morals, and what they're going to say and what they're not going to do. Release, you have no control over that. Number 3, communicate your expectations. What do you expect from others? What can they expect from you? Number 4, be realistic. Number 5, accept imperfection in others, just as you would hope they would accept that within you, that you are not perfect either, that you make mistakes and you will ask for forgiveness. And number 6, look for the opportunities. There's an opportunity for growth in every situation. So I hope that this impacted you in some capacity today. Thank you for watching, joining me live. And just a heads up, currently in my Get Shit Done 5-day group, I am hosting a replay of our last month's training started today, but you'll have all 5 days of the replay that I did last month about how to get out of your own way and get shit done, because that's what I'm all about. So if you want to join our Get Shit Done group, we'll be hosting the replays every morning at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, so you can watch in your pajamas if you want to, and join us live. I also will be, the replays will be up until next Tuesday. So wanted to let you know that if you would like to come in and hang out with us. So I hope you guys have a super great day, and thank you again for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.